What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dash. Come back to Real Takes. Well, it's that time, guys. It's reaction time, and this is for the House of Dragons. This is one of those ones I have been anticipating waiting to drop. It's finally here. I'm excited. I was a fan of Game of Thrones, all 8 seasons, beginning to end. I was bummed when it finally did end. And to know this was in the works a couple years afterwards made me actually excited. I know some people wanted to be done with it, but I was excited that we were going to get another installment, predating, of course, Game of Thrones. So I'm excited for this one with the cast as well. Love the trailer. So don't have a lot to say going in, ready to watch. So with that said, let's go and jump into it. I'll say the rest of my thoughts at the new guys.
King Viserys reigned over nearly 60 years of peace and prosperity, but tragedy had claimed both his sons, leaving his succession in doubt. Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, the king's eldest descendant, and her younger cousin, Prince Viserys Targaryen, the king's eldest male.
Prince Viserys Targaryen, be made Prince of Dragonstone.
Rhaenys, a woman, would not inherit the Iron Throne, for he knew the cold truth. The only thing that could tear down the House of the Dragon was itself.
Silence. Fumbas. Rivas. Welcome back, Princess. Trust your ride was pleasant.
Try not to look too relieved, sir.
I am relieved. Every time that golden beast brings you back unspoiled, saves my head from a spike.
Will lie in this bed soon enough, Rhaenyra. This discomfort is how we serve the realm.
I'd rather serve as a knight and ride to battle and glory.
Must not be late. Leaves people wanting for cups.
Just visiting mother.
On Dragonbank?
If those shipping lanes should fall, it will beggar our ports.
The Crown has heard your report, Lord Corlys, and takes it under advisement.
Does my father know he's here?
No.
Good. sit isa.
You know what it is?
It's Valyrian steel. Like Dark Sister.
Now, you and I both own a small piece of our ancestry.
You want him to have a son? I want to fly with you on Dragonback, see the great wonders across the narrow sea and eat only cake. I'm being serious. I never just about cake.
Can you say yet what it is?
We've sent inquiries to the Citadel. They are searching the text for similar cases. Might I suggest cauterization?
Cauterization would be a wise course of treatment, Your Grace. It will be painful.
Fine. Fine.
Has there been any word from your dear brother?
Not since I named him commander of the City Watch. I'm sure he will re-emerge for the tourney.
Born wearing a crown. God spare me. Birth is unpleasant enough as it is. I know it is my duty to provide you an heir. And I'm sorry if I have failed you in that I am.
My brother's city has fallen into squalor. Crime of every breed has been allowed to thrive. No longer. Beginning tonight, King's Landing will learn to fear the color gold.
Oh my.
No! No! No!
It was an unprecedented roundup of criminals of every ilk. Your brother made a public show of it.
We installed Prince Daemon as commander to promote law and order.
The criminal element should fear the City Watch.
Thank you for your support, Lord Corliss.
You made a vow before the Seven to honor your wife in marriage.
I'd gladly give Lady Rhaenyra to you, Lord Hightower, if you're in want of a woman to warm your bed.
Ooh.
Your own lady wife passed recently.
Damn.
You know how my brother makes sport of provoking you. Must you indulge him?
Unless you let him do it.
My apologies, Your Grace.
You are Rhaenyra Targaryen, rider of Caraxes, wielder of dark sister. The king cannot replace you.
What do you know about the Sir Kristen Cole, Sarah?
I'm told Sir Kristen is common-born son of Lord Dondarrion's steward, but other than that, and the fact that he's just unhorsed both of the Baratheon lads.
Prince Daemon Targaryen chooses Sir Gawain Hightower of Old Town, eldest son of the Hand of the King.
Oh, no, yeah. Cheap shot.
What's happening?
The infant is in breach, Your Grace. All attempts to turn the babe have failed.
I wonder if this is how we should celebrate the birth of our future king. With wanton violence.
It's been 70 years since King Maegor's end. These nights are as green as summer grass. None have known real war. It's a marvel that war didn't break out at first blood.
You can save the child. We must either act now or leave it with the gods.
It's cute.
It's all right. It's all right.
No, I'm scared, nothing.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. They're going to break the baby.
Ooh, dang. Wow. Thank you. He's so arrogant. Thank you.
You.
I wish you luck, Sir Kristen.
Princess?
Congratulations, Your Grace. You have a son.
Oh, okay, so... Oh, no.
Muruho veroncoro hakero keduna. Lotolie kebenuja kerim viventos pentas. Dracarys!
Some further tragedy on you, either by design or accident.
What are you saying? My brother would murder me, take my crown.
Daemon! If we cannot agree on an heir, then how can we expect a
My wife and
ransom?
son are dead! I will not sit here and suffer crows that come to feast on their corpses!
I thought you might go to him, offer him comfort.
In his chambers.
You might wear one of your mother's dresses.
All I wanted was for someone to say that they were sorry for what happened to me. I'm very sorry, Your Grace.
King and council have long rued my position as next in line for the throne. But, dream and pray as they all might, it seems I'm not so easily replaced.
Aelon.
The king's son.
Styling him the heir for a day.
The heir for a day. Did you say it?
We must all mourn in our own way, Your Grace.
My family has just been destroyed. But instead of being by my side, or Rhaenyra's, you chose to celebrate your own rise! Laughing with your whores and your leg spittles!
In the blood of the dragon runs thick.
Then why do you cut me so deep?
I've only ever spoken the truth. I see Otto Hightower for what he is.
An unwavering and loyal hand.
A cunt. Doesn't protect you. I would.
From what?
Yourself. And that council of leeches knows it. They all prey on you for their own ends.
Yes, they do.
I have decided to name a new heir.
I'm your heir.
Not anymore.
Oh.
You are to return to Runestone and your lady wife at once.
Oh.
And you are to do so without quarrel. When you look at the dragons, what do you see?
What? You haven't spoken a word to me since Mother's funeral. And now you send your King's Guard down...
Answer me.
I suppose I see us.
Tell me.
Everyone says Targaryens are closer to gods than to men. But they say that because of our dragons.
That we control the dragons is an illusion. They are a power man should never have trifled with. And I believe, as I know she did, that you could be a great ruling queen.
Daemon is your heir.
Daemon was not made to wear the crown. Gesture, remember? Dragon's saddle is one thing, but the Iron Throne is the most dangerous seat in the realm.
I pledge fealty to them, and shall defend them against all enemies in good faith and without deceit.
Tell us that Aegon looked across the Blackwater from Dragonstone, saw a rich land ripe for the capture. But ambition alone is not what drove him to conquest. It was a dream. Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. Just to begin with a terrible winter, gusting out of the distant north. And whatever dwells within will destroy the world of the living. When this great winter comes, Rhaenyra, all of Westeros must stand against it. A king or queen, strong enough to unite the realm against the cold and the dark. Gon called his dream the Song of Ice and Fire. This secret, it's been passed from king to heir since Aegon's time. Now you must promise to carry it and protect it.
Rhaenyra Targaryen, Princess of Dragonstone, and heir to the Iron Throne.
All right, you guys, I enjoyed this first episode, pretty much listed as a pilot episode. Done very, very well. Again, like I stated before from watching the trailer, this cast. So, want to note, didn't read any books, so pretty much I'm going to do my best to make sure I get these names right as I go along with each episode, because I'm just truly being introduced. And as much as I know how much I like this show, I really want to make sure I'm getting the aspects right. Even if I don't mind somebody giving me a little bit of clarification in the comment section. Just be gentle. Needless to say, moving from that. Now, the tone that's set at the beginning, you see where Jaehaerys Targaryen has to pretty much decide on who will be his successor. And you see it ends up being Viserys. I really thought it was going to be a princess. I want to say Rhaenyra. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. My apologies if I'm not. And it was unfortunate, but in that day and time, let's just be real, it's not going to be a queen. It will definitely most likely be a king. So it was going to be the male. I think honestly, when you see the look on Viserys' face with his wife Emma, then of course becoming the queen, I don't think he really wanted to be his face. I mean, it is what it is. I caught the glimpse of that when they showed that in him looking over, at the princess, and you can see, yeah. So it is what it is. He ended up being it. Now, mind you, from there on, you see as time goes on, of course, he has a daughter, and we see his Princess Rhaenyra. And then we also know he has a brother named Damon, played by Matt Smith. Now, I like how you see her, the young princess, definitely headstrong, likes to kind of go out of turn with doing what she's supposed to do. I like how they showed her on the dragon at the beginning. Of course, she was late to tend to her father, the king, helping. And you could see when they make the comment about it, you smell like the dragon, like you should have bathed, because even she saw her mother checking on her before she went to see her father, the king. So, just seeing what's going on about them, making the decisions of what needs to be done. Of course, her uncle, being in charge of, the guards of that, and then helming that, and they don't know where he's at. So looks like he had an idea. He'll of course surface during the tournament. So eventually we do see Matt Smith, and I like how just catching his character the way he is, Damon, definitely arrogant, rough around the edges, kind of just wants to do his own thing, doesn't want to listen to people, kind of at times very like a hothead, entitlement. He just wants to do what he wants, but then it's just like in a realm where you have your brother who's a king. There's certain things you need to do. They're trying to give you certain duties because eventually, down the road, he might become a successor. Now, we do see a scene where it looks like there's something that Viserys is going through where he's catching something that's on his back, and they're giving him suggestions of how to deal with it. Maybe I, cut myself, on the throne. Why do I not believe that? But okay, I'll play along. But it's just interesting how I wonder as time goes on with the episode, if that's going to be the case, with that being said. Now, also with Emma, his wife, of course, they're hoping, he's like, son, I had a dream. And he spoke of it so vividly. So that is interesting to me because I keep thinking, okay, wondering if it's going to be a son. I was wondering that whole time. Now, mind you, when they had his meeting with the men, you can see a little tension between the character Otto Hightower and I want to say what his name, Corlys Valerian, particularly care for each other. I caught a little bit of that. That was very interesting. Even when Princess went around to drink, he didn't, kind of want no part of it. Otto doesn't, care, whichever it is what it is. But definitely, him speaking on, and I'm talking about Corlys just making suggestions as this, and then of course Otto coming in, trying to shoot it down, whatever and all that. So you can tell there's a little bit of just, discernment and just they don't like each other. This would seem like they kind of just tolerate each other because they have to, and they're dealing with the actual king. So I thought that was really interesting. I want to see how that progresses with that because I think with the fact that his wife not being the successor, that probably plays a little part into that overall, feeling. And of course, Otto being, in the king's ear, Viserys, it just makes me wonder, he wants to do the things that is the best interest. But like I feel throughout watching this episode, when you see a scene between Damon and him, and I'm gonna get to a little bit more of that, him saying him weak, how they, the people around you kind of walk all over you and try to make a decision for you because they don't feel like he can make certain decisions. I kind of feel like, because even at the beginning, seeing other parts of certain things being discussed, him just kind of going along with it, kind of shrugging it off, a little bit of chuckle here and there, just not taking things seriously. Now, it does become serious when we get to the tournament and we see, of course, Damon, doing this, thing and the charging with the horses. I will say this. I did like when he finally came across one person because he knocked one down. He knocked somebody down with the horse and all, a little cheap shot. But then I like how we had what is his name? Sir Kristen. Yeah, I did say he was cute. And I like the scene with him. He went toe to toe with Damon. He deserved what he got. He humbled him a little bit. And he needed, when he lost and he tried, and he was just like, you lost. Like, put your hands up. Like, stop. And then when he tried to reach for his hand, but he's like, he didn't want to take it. It was so mad he lost. Whatever. And I like how the princess, gives, her wreath with her, and that was really nice. I said, I see a little something might, come to be there. We'll have to see. I will say that seeing the princess and then seeing Sir Kristen, he looks a little bit older and her looking so young, the age at the time, whatever, they age her a little bit more. I can kind of see it, but she just, when I look at her face, and she's a very beautiful girl, the one that's playing her, I think, what is her name? Millie Alcock. Very beautiful in her overall look of, playing that character, but she looks so young to me compared to him. But I'm just jumping out there a little early, but just putting out there because I kind of sensed a little bit of that, her little just excitement with watching the tournament, how good he was doing against Damon, which was just, yeah, it was just so nice to watch. Brought him down a peg. But one thing with Damon, you can tell he does have a wife, and it was brought up during one of the meetings after he went out with his guards and went through King's Landing and did a lot of. There was a lot to be had, a lot of bloodshed and body parts, just just a mess, cutting off. It was just I just can't even get the words. I was very graphic, hence how the shows are, and him coming back, having to explain himself, and then them saying you need to go be with your wife, you need to do this, whatever, and all that, and talking about animals and sheep, and I'm just like, okay. I hope we do get introduced to this wife that he's leaving about because he wants to go out here and have his little fun at these little brothels and doing whatever he wants. But then how he threw in his face, Otto Hightower, if you want so much from somebody to be your wife, maybe you can. Oh, that's fair. You just lost your wife, and that was below the belt. And he's like, oh, you're not ready. Like, he's so cruel. So yeah, I'm really feeling, even though I don't particularly care for the way he is, but I'm loving Matt Damon playing Damon so far. He really can't help himself. But I know as the time goes on with the episode, he's gonna really, really show up because as you see, there's a scene that definitely comes up where they're discussing after it comes to a point where the doctor has to speak to Viserys about his wife and how the baby's breached, and you see how he has to make the hard decision. Either you can lose both or you can save one, and pretty much his son. And he ends up making the decision, even though you can tell it hurts him. It really does. But then in the end, the wife sees that he's by there consoling her and all, but then you see the scene where they're setting it up, holding her hands, her legs, and all that, so they can do at that time. Because of course, yeah, nowadays we have C-sections and they have the proper care, they have the proper, medicine, epidural, whatever you need, so you really don't feel anything. It's numb. But in this instance, at that time, no, they did not. And just the pain she went through, excruciating, just for them to go in her tummy and take out the baby. It was a boy. But then the sad thing is that he loses his son. And you see the scene where they are out and family, the guards, everybody's out there. And you see his wife and you see the son. It was just so sad. And Viserys, he could not make the decision for the cremation at that moment for the dragon to do. And it had to be his daughter. She ended up stepping up because at first she was hesitant, like, this is for her father to do. He hasn't really spoken. It's just like he's really in shock. He has no words. And she kind of had to step up. Damon's character King whispered, gave her a little bit of, push and console. And then she was able to make the decision. And oh my goodness. From there, you do get to see a scene like you see the princess with her dear friend, Alicent. Just kind of, which is Otto Hightower, excuse me. I'm getting the names right. That's his daughter. And just kind of, I love their bond. So I'm gonna love seeing how that progresses and grows. How her father, Otto, asks Alicent to go, go see, cheer up, Viserys, put on one of your mother's dresses. And I'm just like, okay. Alrighty. I was hoping there was nothing else going to happen. She went in there, and I do love the scene where she's talking to him, when she lost her mother. All I really wanted was somebody to acknowledge, to tell me, I'm sorry for your loss, whichever. And she says, the same to him. And I can see the appreciation for that. Not to say anybody has or hasn't, but I think a lot of people around him don't know what to say, to kind of just stay, head down, whichever. But just to probably hear from that, I think that was so lovely and genuine coming from her, being that she did lose a mother, and like, and her dear friend lost her mother, and he lost his wife and his child. Now, when they do show another meeting with the men, they're trying to decide who could possibly be the successor now that he's known as the son. They're talking about Damon. Again, can't be leading nothing, not very rational at times. You see what he did in King's Landing. Definitely, again, hothead. doesn't know how to make proper decisions. Could you imagine what he would do? And then they're like, what about his daughter? And you see one of them chimes up talking about, it's always been a king, whatever, it's been 100 years and all that. We're going to change the way things are done. Granted, and I like how some did step up saying, it's not possible. We could do that. Don't want to hear it. And he's like, you all are going back and forth. No, I just lost my family, lost my son and my wife. He's not in the mood to even discuss this. So that's interesting. And you see Daemon did the worst thing he could have did was go to the brothel, kind of drunk a little bit and all that, making little statements and all that. And then makes a comment about, of course, him being a successor, but then saying, the gods saw, gave, but then took it, away, and how Viserys' son was, the heir for a day. Bad choice of words. And somebody was there, heard it, got back to him, and he let him have it. He deserved that. I don't feel sorry for him. Your brother's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm always sticking up for you, whichever. You're not by my side when you need to be, even if you were close by, whatever and all that. Like, he cares. And it's the brothers, he does love him and whatever, but his way of showing love to his brother, the king, not really good. He keeps at a distance. He comes around, whatever and all that, because he knows his brother's going to take us back to keep them all at bay so he can do all these little things he's doing out here. Like he's some little, frat boy, like, single, whatever, his mentality, like he, just out just having fun, whatever, does not care what he's doing, not trying to, doesn't want to be boxed down. You can tell he doesn't like, structure. He doesn't want anybody give him orders of what he needs to do. And the thought of him being king, honestly, I can see why the guys chimed in about that during that, impromptu meeting. And now his brother is seeing, and he's just like, you know what, he made him like, say those words without somebody chop that tongue out. Like, you're going to admit that you said it. Don't come in front of me and bold-faced lie. He's like, you need to go back, be with your wife, do what you need to do, whatever. No, you need to just remove yourself from here. And he's like, he's like, yeah, like, be gone. So I feel like, he needed that little moment of clarity dealing with his brother. Yeah, I can't really depend on you. And then him making comments about him being weak. Like I stated, I said a little bit too, like, honestly, I don't really think he truly wanted to be king. He stepped up to the plate when he needed to, whatever, but definitely, what's the word I want to use? Very nonchalant in other areas, not being more forceful. I think that might have changed a little bit, knowing that he's lost his wife and his child, and then making the decision that his daughter and how he has been treating her, even though he, loves her and all that, whatever, kind of pushing her to the side. She kind of comes and goes and does certain things and all that, but wasn't really paying attention. Finally decided to make her the next in line, and having that talk with her, explain to her certain things, about fire and ice, things of that nature, Blackwater. And I love the backstory. Can't get all the wordings correctly and all, but just knowing and a little bit of understanding and talking about the winter. I got excited just hearing it because I already know hints of how that stuff eventually, as you all know, kind of turned out when we go into, of course, the territory of Game of Thrones. So that was really nice seeing that he was explaining to her about the dragons and all that, being somewhat an illusion and this and all that, and having a separate power with the dragons and understanding that. So just a lot to grasp. I'm trying to remember a lot of stuff. But as I go on, hopefully a lot of it I'll be able to retain a little bit more. But definitely a great episode. Love a little bit of the discussion, understanding certain things, the realm of understanding, with the dragons, the Targaryens. And as time goes on, I'm going to learn a little bit more, and that's great. But I'm loving the characters, and I'm loving so far the overall development right now with this first episode. And definitely with the princess, I want to see what's going to happen with Daemon. Definitely want to see what's going to happen with Otto Hightower, and definitely with the daughter, Alicent. I'm curious about that as well. Also with other princess, Valerian and her husband, Corlys Valerian as well. I like those characters. I did see the Valerian's kids out there. Hopefully, as time goes on, I know they're going to age some of these characters, so we get to see them a little bit older. So, yes, definitely love this first episode. Looking forward to the next one. So, with that said, you guys comment below. Let me know what you think. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next reaction. You guys take care.